Hey guys, welcome to our second annual Mega Wellness Summit, where we are transforming lives one aha moment at a time. I'm your host, Nikki Jensen, and thank you so much for tuning in and sharing this event with your friends and family. So today we are talking all about the emotion code and how it can really benefit and heal your life, even on a DNA level. So my guest today will show you how deep your emotions can go and how they relate to your pain. So please welcome certified emotion code practitioner, Laurie McCracken. Hello, Laurie. How are you?
Hello, Nikki. Thank you. I'm great, and I'm just so delighted to be with you and everyone on this call today.
Oh, I'm so happy that you're with me today because, first of all, I think you know this, but I thoroughly love you. You have done so much for me and pain, my personal pain, and releasing embedded emotions that go years down the line of my life that I didn't realize that they were there. And that's a big reason why I wanted to bring you on to Mega Wellness Summit, is because it's very important for people to understand that if you're in pain, there's an emotion that's attached to it. And I didn't realize this, and I didn't even know this before I met Patrick Durkin. You know, he's also the founder of God Self University, where I found you. So, and you know, Patrick is a expert here on Mega Wellness Summit. He's our hydration expert through the Wellness Enterprise, and so it's a great connection to have. And through that, I found you, and I'm thanking God every single day because I know that I can call you and we can release some pain. And so today we're going to go through and work through some of my own pain, because I almost canceled this interview today because in my right shoulder, underneath my shoulder, what is it called?
Your shoulder blade, which is like your wing.
My shoulder blade. Yeah. Right underneath it, and it's hard for me to breathe. I have a lot of pain. So I'm hoping that we can find out the root cause of that and release that today here live on Google Hangouts. So thank you so much. But first, I want to let everybody know what the emotion code is. So can you explain what is the emotion code?
So the emotion code is a really simple, very easy technique. It's an energy medicine technique. And so what we're doing is tapping into the subconscious, which is what never lies and knows exactly what is wrong with our body. It's our own innate intelligence. And so just like if you think of a glacier and that top part of it, that 5% that we see, that would be our conscious mind. The 95% that's underneath the water, in those deep waters that we don't see, is our subconscious mind. And that is what we're tapping into, to ask the body. So like when we do your shoulder blade, I know your body knows exactly what the cause of this is, and that's what's going to guide us. So in order to do that, I use the muscle testing and I use the sway test, so that when I go forward, that means yes, that's a truth. And when I go backward, that's no. And I always do it with the person's permission. And what I love about this is that I know above everything else that your subconscious loves you. And so it knows exactly what is going to be most beneficial for you right now in this present moment. And it's not going to take you to anywhere that you're not ready to go. It's very gentle, and yet sometimes, as we may see, it can kick our butt, or it can just let us get away with things and still get to the root cause. Because what we're finding is where there's imbalances that are caused by emotions that are trapped in our bodies. And so like if you were yelled at or bullied by another kid when you were 5 years old on the playground, you may think that you've forgotten about that, but your body trapped that and weren't able to process it, which makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So these are invisible energies that are negative that then accumulate and over the years can cause pain. And even children can have them. And so they're really fast at knowing exactly what it is and releasing them. They don't have as many years of
I
isolation.
guess that makes sense. Right.
Yeah.
Wow. And I love this example that you give where a mother comes in to see you, and you tell the story way better than I, but you know what story I'm talking about?
Yes, I think I do. So at an open house that I did, this 10-year-old came in with his mother. And so I said that I would, offer to release one trapped emotion for each of her children, and there were 3. And this 10-year-old, since he was 3, had nervous tics. And his mother had taken him in to neurologist, a specialist, and they would just tell her, there really isn't anything we can do about this, but we can put him on medications. And she didn't want to. She really had the sense, as mothers do, her own intuition was that when he was 3, she was very sick. And she thought this was anxiety. And ever since then, he'd had this tic. So we identified what the trapped emotion was, which I believe was anxiety. And we released it with the magnets, which just magnifies and amplifies the intention to release it from the body forever. We did that, and a couple weeks later, I saw her, and she said, I keep forgetting to tell you, he hasn't had that tic since. Yeah. And she was so thrilled, and you can imagine he was too, because how embarrassing that is for a child at that age at school. So that was cool.
Wow. And, I know somebody whose son suffers from like a Tourette's type of syndrome. And so I will be referring her to you, because if her son can release that and get, he kind of does like this, like kind of, or like he does different things to where, as he gets older, she's changed his whole diet. I mean, she's one of those warrior mamas that really got it, and she gets and understands how to treat her son naturally and holistically. But at the same time, if there is an emotion that is stuck in there that can release it for good, that correlates and coordinates with a holistic diet and a natural diet, then I think that is a great combination, right?
Exactly. And that's such a good point, because it's in this day and age with all the toxins around us and environment, the food and everything, we need all the support we can get. We need it from our food. We need it from exercise and all those good things. But our emotions are really important. And in fact, research has shown recently that up to 90% of our physical illnesses are created, the root cause of them are emotions. And so if we can tap into that and get rid of the 90%, that's huge. And it makes a huge difference for our relationships with one another, with ourselves, with the world.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, you had also mentioned too that, this is the wave of the future. This is how we're going to be treating illnesses down the road. And instead of getting an antibiotic, going to the emotion code practitioner and talking to them about releasing the emotion that's attached to the pain. How much easier is that?
Well, absolutely. And the thing is that I find with this is that what is fantastic is we can release first the emotions that are surrounding it. Then if we do need antibiotics or we do need some other kind of supplement or whatever it might be, it will work that much better because we've cleared out what's holding it back. And so our immune system can actually work and function the way that it wants to and it's meant to.
Yeah. Well, what is your background, Laurie?
Well, so I was an oncology nurse for many years. I've been a nurse for hundreds of years, it seems like, but an oncology nurse for the last 15, 20 years until I became totally a holistic healthcare practitioner. I was a health coach, and I'm an energy medicine practitioner. And I wondered for the longest time, what are all these three things? How am I going to meld these things? And when I learned about the emotion code, I felt like, oh my gosh, this has brought it all together. So I can use my assessments as a nurse, my skills as an energy medicine practitioner, and as a health coach, and just blend them all. And I feel like it fits like a glove. And I feel like it's really my sacred calling.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you because you're phenomenal at what you do, and I'm glad that we get to do it today because unfortunately I have this nagging pain that still it's not allowing me to breathe, and you know it's hard to do this while I'm trying to host the show.
Right.
But you know what? It's so fitting, so I'm like, screw it, we'll just do it. It's so fitting. So we're just gonna muscle right through this pain.
So let's do it for you.
Do you want to just do it now?
Yes, why not? I think that's the loving, kind thing to do.
All right, let's just do that. We won't muscle through it. We'll see how much it releases. Because I just want to tell the audience too, and anyone who's listening right now, that I had some pain in my brain and in my eyes. And I went to Laurie and I said, look, I am extremely stressed out with everything that's going on in my life, work-wise, and what all these things are going on. I feel like my brain is swollen, like literally. And every time I felt like I couldn't go on the computer because my eyes were, something's going on with my eyes where it was getting super blurry. So went to Laurie, and lo and behold, I had like 3 emotions attached to that we released, and the brain swelling totally went away and hasn't come back. And the eyes are definitely a tricky thing. It did come back, and to where it was gone for a little while, but now, you know, when I'm looking at the screen, sometimes it's so blurry that it affects my concentration too. So I know that people, when I'm speaking right now, can see themselves in my story, and they're going, okay, well, if I can release this pain, I know that I have some things that are going on with my eyes, or if I have, people have all sorts of things going on, right? Yeah. So if they can go to you and they can see that the pain is releasing from me here on camera, then they are sure to go to you and get the help that they need as well. So we'll tell everybody how to reach you so they can get this as well for themselves. So, all right, enough about that. More on to me.
Yes, on to you. And so what I want to say about that too is, if there's anyone listening to this today that finds themselves with the same emotions that come up for you, they can just tap in, really take a deep breath and feel, where is that in their life? How old do they feel? Where do they feel it in their body? And as we release it for you, they can get the benefit of releasing it from them too, because energetically we're all connected. And so if we put that intention, so I would love for anybody who does experience this, know that this can benefit you right here and now too.
Yes, absolutely. That's fantastic. And I hope that we can invite everybody who's watching this to do it to themselves, so some pain can release for them. That's great. Thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate that.
Sure. Okay. And so the reason I love to do this actually in person, and so I'm so sorry you have the pain, but it will help us because it truly is experiential.
Yeah.
So the only thing I need to know is how old you are, Nikki.
I'm 33.
33. So wonderfully young. All right. So, and do I have permission to tap into your subconscious?
Yes, you do.
Yes. Okay. So my name is Nikki, and I'm going forward. And so my subconscious knows exactly to put myself aside and tap into your energy in your subconscious, which is going to guide us as to what is going on here. So I'm going to ask, does Nikki have any trapped emotions in her shoulder blade? And I get a yes. So what we're going to do is identify it. And I have a chart here of 60 emotions, and we're going to get it down to what that trapped emotion is right now. So is it from column A? Yes. Is it an odd row? No. Is it row 2? Yes. It's anxiety. Okay, so there may be more there, but this is the first one that your subconscious knows. We got to clear this out first. So And let's find out how old you were when this got trapped. Is this before the age of 10? No, before the age of 15. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So when you were 15, and this can be off a year, so when you were 14, 15, or 16, and you hear anxiety, what comes to your mind?
You know, I'm not too sure about that. Those were pretty stable years of my life. The only thing is that I started to get into the whole boy situation, started liking boys. In the 8th grade, I was 13, and I lost my best friend. She basically said to me, I don't want to be friends with you anymore.
Okay.
And so that, to me, and it's still actually a struggle in my life today. She consumes my brain, and I don't know why, but because even though she said to me in the 8th grade, I don't want to be your friend anymore, we continued on to have a semi-weirder relationship, you know, in high school, which means that we were on and off friends, you know?
Yes, and so you're right. This is exactly it. It has to do with her, with this relationship, with your friend. Okay. So do we need to know anything more? No, you nailed it. Perfect.
Okay, cool.
Now, can you release this? Yes. So what I'm going to do is use magnets and go over, for those of you who are familiar with the acupuncture energy charts, there's an energy pathway, the largest one in our body, that goes from the top of our lip all the way down our spine. And so we're going to use that because all the other energetic pathways flow into that. And as I roll this over my forehead with Nikki's intention to release it, and any of you who discovered that you've had anxiety, how old you were and where in your body you're feeling it, then we'll release it. It's going to amplify and magnify that intention, and it will leave from your body. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Go, and we'll do it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now just take a nice deep breath and let it go. Beautiful. So that did release from you. And you know what I meant to ask you, though, on a scale of 0 to 10, where did your pain begin? Where 0 is no pain at all and 10, you're ready to call the ambulance.
It was like a 9.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's important to know. And so did you feel anything with that? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. There's a lot more there.
Yeah,
so
no, it feels a little bit better. It feels a little bit better, like definitely let go of something.
Okay.
Like, yeah. So it's funny because I can kind of feel like a warm release in the spot where there's a lot of inflammation. I can feel that there's inflammation right there. Yeah. So I can feel that it let go a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is just the beginning. So you ready for another one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So is this one Nikki's? Because it could be absorbed from someone else, or it could be inherited. So this one is yours from column A. Yes. Odd row. Yes. So this one is abandonment.
I always get abandonment.
Yes. This is like the #1 trapped emotion recently.
Oh.
Everybody. And I think because also in humanity, we're feeling, so many people are feeling abandoned. And what I love about this too is, as we're doing this for you and for anyone else in the audience today, we're releasing this pain, these trapped negative emotions from humanity. And so we're adding love to humanity just by doing this together today.
Okay. Yes, absolutely.
All right. And so let's see when this got trapped. So this is still at the same age. And this is around that relationship too. Does that make sense to you?
Say, what age was it again?
15. So that ongoing on and off.
Okay. Okay.
And does anything else come to your mind?
At the age of 15, so I had like a high school sweetheart, and his name was Willie. And Willie and Joyce, they didn't like each other at all. So Willie is very much responsible for, or I shouldn't say he's responsible, but the relationship that I had with both of them are the ones that basically why we disconnected.
Okay.
So with, her name is Joyce, by the way. So I loved her very deeply as a friend. She was my best friend. I mean, it was a very, very deep love there. And it still is today, but it's on a different, very, very different level because we don't really speak anymore. I haven't talked to her in like 3 years. So yeah, I think at the age of 15, you know, I was probably worried about her. I was wanting to have her be my best friend again. And I think she was normalizing at that age, to tell you the truth, because she was, you know, she's very out there kind of person. And so, yeah, I think at that age, things were starting to normalize. And she was like a cheerleader or something at that age. And I was like, what is this girl doing? She is so off her rocker right now, and I don't even know who she is. But it actually, because of her normalizing that way, so I don't know if that makes any sense.
Well, and so in the sense of abandonment, you feeling abandoned.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I could be abandoned by the fact that what happened in the 8th grade by her, abandoned by her then, was right. Still the emotion carried through. Is she going to do this to me again at age 15?
Yes.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. And the other possibility is that you, because of that earlier experience, you abandoned yourself in order to try to maintain that relationship with her. There might be a mixture of that. Would that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And so let's test. So that's true. And so let's see, is there something else we need to know? Yeah. So your subconscious isn't letting you off the hook here. So there's something to do with Willie too. Did you feel abandoned by him at that time?
So at that age, it was, I think, yes, at 15, 16 years old, we're very, very tough because with in regards to him and Joyce, I would say.
Yeah. And see, so that's what your subconscious just wants to validate for you, how difficult it was and how abandoned you felt. It's validating that. It's letting you know that. And the beautiful thing is that now you're ready to let go of it. It doesn't serve you anymore. And it's actually creating that pain in your shoulder blade. And you're ready to let it go.
Okay.
All right? So
ready.
Here we go. 5 times for this one.
Oh, boy.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, nice deep breath.
Whew.
Yeah, that was deep.
Yeah. Interesting. It definitely just released. I felt like a real warm spot come over it.
Okay. And
it's still there. It's still there, but.
And so you were at a 9 out of 10 a few minutes ago. Where would you say it's at now?
6.
6. Okay. So it's improving, but there's still more there. And I just want to let everyone know, too, that when we do this work, I can test so that I know that it's released from your body, but it may take 24 to 48 hours, and for some people longer, to process this, because it's been there in your body for a while. And so now you're creating new space, and so it can heal. but it needs time to integrate, to
Yeah.
be free of that. Okay, so are you ready for one more?
I am.
Let's see if we can get this down a little bit more. All right, so is this next one yours? No. Is this inherited? No. So this is a psychic trauma. And what that means is that you experience two intense emotions at the same time. So let's see what those are. So is the first one from column A? Yes. Row 1, yes. And that was betrayal. And the second one, is that from column A? Yes. And that was forlorn. So real deep sadness. And this is stuck in your shoulder blade. So is this from the age of 15? No. Is this before 20? Yes. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So this one is when you were 20 years old. When you hear betrayal and forlorn, real deep sadness, what comes to your mind? 19, 20, 21.
Whew. All right. Getting into it, Laurie. Getting into it. Wow. All right. So at the age of 20, I was in the broadcasting world. I was still in LA. We're living with my parents. Deep sadness. My father just had two big things. Yes, this is what it is. So, okay. So my father had aortic aneurysm.
Wow.
That he caught in time, was able to have a big surgery. My father also found out that he had cancer, and so he had throat cancer. So in the same year, he went through all of that, went through radiation, and also the boyfriend that I had at the time, his name was Aaron. He actually lost his father to cancer.
Wow.
So, and he had lost his mother 7 years prior to that from cancer as well, from, I believe, lung cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that explains the deep sadness. And what about the betrayal? Does that tie into that? Or
Well, he would have been the one to betray me.
Yes.
Yeah, Aaron was. Yeah, because I was really madly in love with him, and he didn't share the same feelings with me, unfortunately. Yeah.
There you go. And it's so interesting. See that the shoulder pain is the blade is right behind your heart, and often that's where betrayal shows up energetically, is right in the back. Okay, so this is really beautiful. So you're naming it so well, and this is why I'm getting a yes. Your subconscious saying yes, again, validating. You felt betrayed, you felt forlorn, and look, it makes perfect sense why you experienced those emotions. And as a 20-year-old, you weren't able to process all that. That was overwhelming, right? And so it makes perfect sense that it's trapped there, and this is what's contributing to the pain. So let's ask your subconscious, can you release both of these at once? No. We need to release them each separately. And this is why, just like we want to be appreciated and acknowledged, so do these emotions, because they serve a purpose and they get such a bad rap. We deny them, we try to push them away, we try to stuff them. And they're really trying to awaken something in us and give us a message that's going to help us in our life. And so now, before they leave, they know their time is up. They've done their service. They just want to be acknowledged. So are you ready to release the betrayal?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to need 5 for this. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, nice deep breath. And let it go. And now, are you ready to release being so sad, the forlorn?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice deep breath. Let it go.
So interesting. Wow.
Yeah, those were deep.
That is amazing. So now it's like at a 2.
Okay, awesome.
Wow. That is so cool. And I've never experienced such bad pain. And I'm glad that, I'm semi-glad that I was able to show this on camera right now, because people are able to see. It's just so weird that this happened on the same day that we have this interview. It really is just kind of ironic that I have this terrible pain behind my shoulder blade on this day that we're having the interview. Mm-hmm. And let me just tell the audience too, that Laurie and I already did one of these hangouts. I already tried to interview her once, and it didn't record. So this is actually a second redo because the first one didn't record. And we're going, why did that happen? And this is exactly why it happened, is because maybe for me, energetically, this needed to happen again because I needed to release this. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But wow, that is truly amazing. Now, Laurie, just so everybody can understand kinesiology and how you're doing the sway test and what does that mean and what are they actually looking at? If you can bring some light into that for people.
Well, it's because we're connected energetically, and we have the intention to connect in to the person's innate ability to communicate. It's like, it's kind of like our cell phones, right? We're always keeping them and noticing if the charge has gone down or whatever, and plugging it in so that they're recharged. And how many times do we get those alerts in ourselves, like saying, I'm really retired, but I got to push through this. So we override those alerts in our own body. And so what I love about this, it's not, we have those messages, we get them. Do we listen to them? No. And so this is just a technique in order to tap in. So what I'm doing is being a facilitator for you to hear what your own body is saying and what it knows to be true. It's tapping into that wisdom. And so it trains us also to listen more, to be more connected to who we are. And the more we release these trapped emotions that are like chaotic energy around us, then we have space and the clarity and the peace inside of us to be able to step into who we truly are and feel who that is and listen to that voice, because it's louder now without all the millions of other voices. And to know that, I've got to plug myself in and get recharged. We would never even think that our cars would run without gas, right? And yet we don't give the fuel, the nourishment, the support to ourselves. And we expect our bodies to keep on going, digesting and moving and getting work done or taking care of the kids or whatever the millions of things we have, which are all important. And yet we deny, we put ourselves aside, and we don't hear what our body's messages are.
Well, that rings true for me, for sure. Because every time I do Mega Wellness Summit, every time I do something, Mega Wellness Summit is on a larger scale. And so, and then putting together Women's Wellness Academy as well, this is what I'm literally telling myself, Laurie: deny, deny, deny. Don't think about it. It's okay. Push through. You don't need that massage. You don't need self-care. Just push through. You can do it. Really, I'm telling myself this.
Yes, and see, so your body says, okay, let's give her some shoulder pain. We got to do something to get her to stop and listen to us. And she's not doing it unless we get the pain going.
Oh, boy.
It's always a message. And see, it's as if we've got little angels on our shoulders saying, oh my gosh, we might as well go watch CNN. She's not listening.
That is so true. That is so true. And too, because I run a program called Wheat Free Adventure, and I would always say, look, because it has to go with hand in hand with getting off of gluten and grains to help you lose weight. But here's the thing, though. I would always say you're not going to understand that your body can't handle gluten until you're in pain, until your digestion doesn't work for you anymore, and you have diarrhea and pain, abdominal pain, and all those things that are associated with it. And then that's when you come to me and you get on the wheat-free adventure. Other than that, you don't pay attention to it.
Exactly. See, so it's like I had a friend who would tell me, you know, go ahead, take my advice. I don't use it, you know, and this is it, because our bodies do talk to us, and they're just trying to get a message to us.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so incredible. So incredible. I tell you, this has been, you know, it's still a little bit there,
Okay.
the pain, but it's definitely going away. Do you feel that there's more emotion there?
Yes, I think there's one more there. Are you up for that? And I think, so it's beautiful, so that anyone in the audience can really, again, and then see for yourself and see what you notice.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go. Is this next one yours? No. This one is inherited. So is this from your mother? No. From your father? Yes. And is it from his father? No. From his mother. So your grandmother on his side. Does it go back any other generations? Yes. More than 10? No. 5, 6, 7, 8. So it goes back 8 generations. And so this is interesting. It's not even yours, this trapped emotion, and yet it's affecting your shoulder. And so let's identify what it is. So is this from column A? Yes. Odd row. And so this is inherited abandonment. So interesting. And so what is really amazing about this, so what this means is when you were conceived and you got your beautiful color hair and eyes, you also received this inherited trapped emotion. So it's been with you your whole life, and it's trapped in that right shoulder wing. So what is beautiful is that now you're ready to release it. It's not even yours, but it has affected your life. It's been accumulating, and you know, as you get more of these trapped emotions, and it's like a ball of negative energy, that's what the pain comes from. And so what is really wonderful is that we're going to release this from you, and we're also going to release it from your dad and from his mother and all 8 generations back on that side of the family. And this is such a gift, because I think it's the first time in history that we are conscious enough to have these, or actually coming around. The ancients used to use so many of these wonderful healing modalities. And now we're conscious enough to know this and be able to release it for them. They've had, who knows what they suffered with abandonment, and they didn't have a way to release it. And so it's a gift that you're giving them, and they will experience.
Wow.
Okay. And so if your dad and your grandmother are still alive, you may notice that there's a shift in them because you've released this trapped emotion for them too.
Okay.
All right.
I remember when we did, my very first session with you was about money, actually. It wasn't about pain.
Right.
And so that's when everything did come up for my father, actually. And it was back, I think, like 8 generations where I needed to release that. So it's back again.
Yes. And this one's in your shoulder. That might have been in another place. So it's so interesting, because we're like a matrix, and we have different layers that need to be released. All right. So this one, we're going to need to do 10 rolls of the magnet. So you're ready to let go of this inherited abandonment?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, nice deep breath. And let it go. Beautiful, beautiful release.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Did you feel it? Sometimes
yeah.
feel it. Some people do feel it a lot, and some people don't. There's no right or wrong way. It's, you know, whatever works for our bodies. Sometimes it happens later. All of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I don't feel abandoned anymore. I feel like I'm cherished as a person. And I'm realizing I'm cherishing myself because now there's a new space. And what I like to say is because also we're releasing things, and it's so important to release and let go. The other half of that is in that new space, that spaciousness, that expansion. Now we can replace it. So instead of abandonment, to know that you're cherished, that instead of anxiety, that there's love, and so I think it's important to also name that, just like we named the emotions that we're letting go of. It's really beautiful to name it and feel the new emotion that you can fill that space with.
Yes, I agree, absolutely. And, I definitely feel a lot better, a lot lighter. It's still there, but I feel like I have a trusting feeling that it's going to be going away.
Yeah.
It's kind of something that's like telling me it's going to go away. Don't worry. It's just having time to heal. And it's so funny with abandonment on my father's side. My father, his mother died when he was at the age of 7, I believe. And so his mother died at 7, and then his father died at 17.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's, obviously you're going to have a lot of abandonment problems or issues when that happens to you. How devastating.
Yeah, those are really deep and for his whole life. And
yeah.
So giving him the gift of lightening that burden for him. So it'll be interesting to see if you notice anything or if he notices anything.
I hope so, because, for him, it's been such a rough road for his life with financially and just never being on top. And when you don't have that supportive network of a family, it's very tough to get ahead in life.
It's really true.
Yeah. So I really hope that this releases for him too, because, my father is such a hardworking, he just stopped working at the age of 74, 75, I think it was. So yeah, it's definitely been a rough road. So I'd love to see, and I know that people listening too can probably relate and say, well, yeah, I wish that would release for my husband or for my daughter or for my son. And so just to know that what happens to you or I, when we release it on a global worldly level. And so thank you so much for healing the world. And I'm telling you, it's so much better. It is. It's so much better, Laurie.
That's awesome.
I was really going to run to the chiropractor and say, and see what was going to go on with what was happening with the shoulder blade, because it was a lot of pain. I'm telling you, it was terrible.
Yeah, well, that was pretty severe, extreme. And where would you say it's at now?
The number that came to me is 1.5.
Okay, so from 9 to 1.5 in 15 minutes or so. That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. And the other beautiful thing about that, Nikki, for me, is that because it's like in the back of your heart. And so you've opened that whole space up, and so for anyone who felt it there, it's really opening up our hearts. And this is what's beautiful, what can heal the world. If we can heal our hearts and open them up. And interestingly, that's where, the front of our heart is where our thymus is. When we have trapped emotions there, that's like a heavy burden all on top of our immune system. As we release those trapped emotions in the heart area, or a heart wall, as we can call it, then that allows our immune system to be freer and to be able to do its job too. So it's all the body, mind, and spirit that is so connected.
And that's what we're doing. That's
right.
MWS Summit, mind, body, and spirit. That's why we're doing with this, 3 weeks of mind, body, and spirit, to really understand that there is a connection. Last year when we did Mega Wellness Summit, we just focused on the body, and it just didn't make sense. It made sense, but it just wasn't complete. Yeah. So now we're completing it, and it feels so amazing to really get all of this information out on really how to heal the body wholeheartedly, really.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I love it, Laurie. And, you know, how can people find you? So I found you at www.godself.com and through an emotion code session, but how can people connect with you?
So that's a really good way to go. You can go to that godself.com, and there, because I have ongoing group emotion code sessions there, and so you can join those. That's a little different experience, but it's kind of like what we had here for those of you that were part of this. And on that, you can also opt to come in and be part of it, and I can work with you individually there.
It's a wonderful experience to go into a group emotion code and get it released there in front of people that you don't necessarily know, which might be for some a bit intimidating, but at the same time, they can also go to you and set up a session with you one-on-one. And I really do hope that people do connect with you. I'll have all the links available for people just to go straight to and email you and go to the website and connect with you and book a session.
Yes, and that would be joydevive.com. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have all the links. Don't you worry. And people will be knocking at your door wanting to get into this after they see this this interview. Because I'm telling you, I almost feel like I gotta go take a nap now.
Well, and that's a really good point, because oftentimes you did deep work, and so it seems like nothing, and yet it was really deep work. So you want to there again honor. So when the first chance you get to lie down and just honor and see what comes up for you. And I want to let people know sometimes the evening that you have a session like this, you might have vivid dreams. And you want to also drink a lot of really, the structured water would be great because it's really hydrating and helps flush through any of the negative energy still. And we want to be well hydrated. It just supports our body in so many ways. And to allow that it may take a day or two to integrate this. And the other thing is that you can have waves or echoes of any of the emotions that were released during the session. And so what I invite people to do is to be an observer and pretend that you're putting them up like abandonment or anxiety, and say, oh, there you are, anxiety. There you are, abandonment. I'm going to put you up on the movie screen here. I know you're on your way out. I appreciate what you did to support me. And I know you don't serve me anymore. And there's the door.
What a beautiful way of looking at it, and so positive. And it's not like we're putting negative on there where it's like, oh, I wish this thing would go away. We're actually honoring the connection to the emotion. And I love that. And you just said it beautifully. Thank you.
Well, you know what I realize more and more as I do this work, and as I feel more and more deeply connected to myself and experience so much more peace than anxiety, which is what I had for years, is that it's like having a whole new relationship with life, with myself, with my emotions, and therefore with people, with my family. It's like the relationship actually shifts and is so much more real, and it's so much more joyful, actually. And so that's really been a beautiful benefit of this for me.
Wow. Thank you so much, Laurie. You are just a light in my life, and I appreciate all that you do for me and for humanity. And you're just an amazing person. I just want to thank you so much for healing me today. Appreciate it. And healing other people that are watching this right now. And we really did a service to the world. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Well, and thank you for the same thing that you are doing, my friend. And if I can just say one more thing, because what's beautiful to me about this is that because I can't really heal anybody, what I can do is help you release what you don't need anymore that's holding you back, so that your presence then will be what heals.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for adding that. I appreciate it. But you're just amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'll talk to you later, Laurie.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.